Tempo has reached critical level. Tempo has reached critical level.
Who am I? I am a legend in my own rights. Who am I? I am your cruiserweight champion. Who am I? I am the urban legend, Xavier Knight. I'd like to thank you for having me on your show. You know, a lot of people want to know who I am, what the urban legend is all about. Well, I guess you're going to give them an opportunity, right? Yeah. You know, they say who I am. That's what you want to know. Who am I? Well, I'm the urban legend. How did I get the urban legend? Well, in my own rights, I've done so much as a wrestler. Even before I became a wrestler, I was an urban legend. Taking care of my family, you know, working hard, doing all the things that matter to my family. That's what makes an urban legend. And I carried that on into my career. So who am I? The urban legend, Xavier Knight. A lot of people don't know who I am. But now you're giving them the opportunity to figure out who I am as you ask me these questions. I'll do the best I can in answering them. But sometimes I may not be able to complete them because my career is not over. I have a long way to go. So let me take a sip and you get your questions together as I get myself together, I've been in this business. That's what you want to know? Let's see. Are you asking me from when I started in training or even thinking about wrestling? So, I guess it's about 6 years. 6 years now. I started out in training in Columbia, South Carolina. I went to Leilani High School. I was trained by a guy who was known as Big B Still, and also the Mastodon. They took me through a series of classes. I would say about 8 months to 10. And then the next year, so I would say a year, because I didn't step in the ring until 12 months. I trained with 3 guys, Darren Fate and Ingo, and oh God, what was the other guy's name? I can't even think of his name because I think he faded out. He couldn't hang. So it ended up with us 3, Ingo, Darren Fate, and myself. And I actually started my career in feuding with Darren Fate, which ended up being my partner down, way down the line. But those were good times. I still remember those guys. Until this day, I'm the only one wrestling because I'm the one who had the passion to keep it going. I'm not saying those guys didn't have the passion. It was just that, they had things to step in their way. And I kind of pushed through those things. So, 6 years, I had my first match, feuding with Darren Fate, and it was in a promotion called East Coast Professional Wrestling. We did probably about 5 matches, and that was my first match. So I was a little nervous getting in the ring. Darren, he had the ego. You couldn't tell him nothing. So we had our matches and we did our thing in the ring. those 6 years packed so much in, from Darren Fate to Malachi, who I wrestled in CWA. It's been a run, but of course it's not over. It's not over. 6 years. So yeah, that's how long I've been doing it. As of right now. My favorite wrestler was The Undertaker. Mean Mark Callis. Oh man. Since I was 8 years old, I love The Undertaker. Then, they say, well, you've been The Undertaker. Did you want to be a bad guy, a good guy? What did you want to be? I said, I just want to be The Undertaker. I want to have the skills, the knowledge, everything that The Undertaker has. The power, because he was unstoppable to me. Inspiration, The Undertaker. And now is still wrestling in WWE. And it looks good. That's how I want to be when I get older. That's how I want to continue. I want kids to follow me. Say, I was a fan of the urban legend, Xavier Knight. That's what inspired me. I still remember back when I stayed in Atlanta, Georgia. They had this show, this TV station that showed wrestling from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And as a little kid, I remember staying up all night looking at wrestling. Nobody could take me away from the TV. It went from WWE to, WCW to the independent wrestling. Independent wrestling? Well, I guess it's the minor leagues of wrestling, just like baseball. You have the major leagues and then the minor leagues, right? So I think it's the minor leagues of wrestling, where those guys who do independent hopefully gets noticed and gets, that call to move up. Well, I consider myself one of the best cruiserweights in independence. I've wrestled for several promotions, from Chicago to Atlanta, Maryland, DC, Columbia, South Carolina, Charleston, Charlotte, North Carolina, the home of Ric Flair, and now Florida. And, through all that, I've battled some of the best, just to name a few. Malachi, who was one of the top CWA cruiserweights. Malachi, who was one of the top Carolina Pro Wrestling cruiserweights. Josh Magnum. Josh Magnum has held this belt for the longest. But considering that I am the three-time holder of this belt, the cruiserweight belt for Champions with Attitude, it's something that I take pride in. People don't understand that. They think this is just a belt. Just one time they wanted to even get rid of the cruiserweight division. How can you kill something that Malachi, Josh Magnum, Johnny Blaze built the cruiserweight division, and you want to tear that down? Legends in their own right. I feuded with so many, from ladder matches to table matches. It's even a barbed wire match. I've done a barbed wire match in front of 5 fans. 5. And you know what? I gave them the best show of their life. I even did a casket match in front of 2 people and gave them the best show of their life. So now you see where my inspiration comes from, The Undertaker. Because he does whatever it takes to win. You know, regardless of the fans like me or not. I'm in because it's a legacy for me. I want to continue the legacy that those guys built and the standard that they put for this belt. That's what I'm all about. The urban legend Xavier Knight. How many promotions I wrestled for? In counting, huh? I would say 10 maybe. I've held belts for 5 of them. Now I've held a heavyweight belt. I've held a tag belt. And of course, cruiserweight belts. But you know what? Right now we're talking about one promotion. And that's Champions with Attitude, that I've been working for 5 years. That's where my loyalty is. My loyalty is to them. They say, are you the company's, do you represent the company? Well, hell yeah, I do. That's why I have this. That's what I represent. You know, can't say it any better than that. That's what it's all about. And I would do whatever it takes to represent the company. If Roger Gleaton called me today, right now, and said, Xavier, I need you to fly back to Columbia, South Carolina, or Orangeburg, South Carolina, to defend this belt in a cage match, no holds barred, what do you think I would say? What do you think the fans will want? They will want me to say, yeah. Hell yeah, Xavier's on his way back from Startown, Florida. He's bringing his A game no matter who he fights. That's what I do, man. I keep it real. And the fans know I keep it real. The reason I became a bad guy is because I trusted a family member. And a family member persuaded me to turn my backs on my fans. And at the moment, you know, you never turn your back on family. You always support family. And at that moment, I couldn't say no. And most of the people know who I'm talking about. And you know who I'm talking about. That's why you asked me this question. The Insane Asylum. What impact he had on my career. I still bring out the best in me, even if it's good or bad. Because that's why we held the tag team belts when we were in CWA. But to get back to your question, Asylum was a control freak. I couldn't do much to keep him under control. Without Lexi Capri, people, you've seen the videos. After the match, after we may have lost the match, he loses his mind. Chokeslammed me 3 times. At one point, he chokeslammed me 3 times, and I still had to come out the next match to go against one of TNA's superstars. That's when we were doing CWA versus TNA. I went against Chris Sabin. One of the best matches of my career. Much respect to Chris Sabin. I mean, he's been doing this probably as long as I have, and he's made it to the big times. But you know what? I made it to the big times too. This is my big time. CWA. Who cares if I make it to TNA or WWE? If I do, they get the same thing I give CWA. But right now, this is my main event. This is my showstopper. That's what I go to do. That's my job. Good guy or bad guy. But then again, they say, you're a bad guy. No respect. But people know Xavier is all about respect. You step in the ring with me, I don't care who likes you or not. You get the respect from me. Until you step in that ring and when you step out. Because I'm a man of my word. I give you all I got and I want you to do the same. Give the fans what they ask for. But then again, get back to your question. Why did I turn out to be a bad guy? Well, a little greedy at one point. I wanted gold so bad that I did whatever I could. If it was to turn bad, that's what I did. And I still got gold. But then again, you know as well as I do, Eddie. Sometimes you can't trust family. And I learned the hard way. A couple of years later, Asylum turned on me. Chokeslammed me 3-4 times. I probably couldn't even move out the ring. I felt my career just flash in front of my eyes. I thought it was over. It's like, you know, what did I do to deserve this? But I realized that what I did. What did I do? I turned my back on my fans, the ones that supported me for 5-6 years. They supported me my whole career. And how do I repay them? By turning bad. When you do bad things, you get paid for it, right? You pay for it. And that's what I did. I paid for it. But now I see the light. This is my light. You getting blinded by it? That's a lot of gold, right? But every day I wake up, and I see this belt, I know what I'm waking up for. Because I know fans out there appreciate and respect the urban legend, Xavier Knight. And that's why I have this belt. And now that I'm a good guy, not by choice, but because the fans engaged me and took me back. They brought me back to reality. Yeah. They brought me back to reality. What Xavier truly represents. The CWA fans. And in general, it's just not CWA fans, it's all my fans around the world for those promotions that I worked for in the past. Yeah. What is my finishing move? Well, what was that? Oh, well, who inspired my finishing move? I guess I would say RVD, Rob Van Dam, from ECW. You know who I'm talking about, right? The 5-star frog splash. The guy who would get up like a skyscraper and come down on you. Yeah. I like to keep it old school. Sometimes it doesn't take a fancy move to finish a person off. It takes the simplest thing. How did I come up with the name? Legendary Status? Well, I am the urban legend, and I do want people to come to my level. So that's why I call it the Legendary Status. 5-star frog splash, hip toss neck breaker. Simple. Never see it coming. That's how I finish them off. But now, since you done told everybody, everybody knows. But then again, they won't see it coming. So well, my background is in submission grappling. I did some amateur wrestling in high school, which is mat wrestling. And submission grappling is someone like Ultimate Fighting Championships, what you see on TV now, you know, stuff like that, tap outs, things like that. But I gave all that up because I like how I look. Sometimes, you know, I get up every day, I was like, why do I do this? Why am I going to step in the ring, do a ladder match, table match, break my back, my neck, my face can get scarred up? Why? Well, I said, well, I'd rather do this than Ultimate Fighting because that's vicious. It's not as vicious as pro wrestling, but we can turn it up a notch at times. But you will never see me go against a UFC guy because I have respect for him. And I hope they would have the same respect for me. So, but yeah, that's my background. Amateur wrestling, submission grappling, then professional wrestling. Myself in 5 years. You act like you're interviewing me for a job. What's up with that? But reality is, wrestling is like my life. I take it one day at a time. You know, those opponents I face, you know, it's when I'm in the ring, it's about a minute. Whatever happens that minute, that's what it's all about. If it's 15 minutes in the ring, 20 minutes in the ring, at that moment, that's what it's all about. So in 5 years, I'm hoping to still be moving around. Fully equipped, no broken bones, you know, still giving the fans what they want. But, Eddie, like I said, take it one day at a time, bro. And that's how the fans should see it. That's words to my fans, huh? I'll say it like this, Eddie. My fans have done so much for me. and they brought me to this level. I wouldn't be the urban legend without them. I wouldn't even exist. So I hope they keep supporting me. Rant and rave about me every time they see me. Even when I'm not around, they think about me. That's what I want. Because I respect them as they respect me. And as long as I carry this, I represent them. Without this, I represent them. A belt does not make me. And a belt does not make them love me. That's what it's all about.